In sports, if you want to be the best, there are no off days.
Welcome into the No Off Days podcast. He is Chris Cato.
I'm Chris.
You're wearing green, and green is kind of the theme of the show. I got green shoes on, too. Our guest here that we will talk about momentarily is, from what I understand, dressed in green.
A lot of green.
A lot of green in this one. But we have an exciting show for you today. A lot of stories that we need to discuss, Chris, you and I. And so before we do that, let's bring in BK. Brian King in the booth. And BK, how we doing? You're not wearing green.
I missed a memo, guys.
Okay, all right.
He could be wearing green pants. We don't know. Look at that.
He never wears green pants. I know, BK.
Green shoes?
Brian is wearing, he's wearing Dockers, and they're probably beige. I think they're beige. Am I right?
Yeah. Khaki, beige,
Okay.
something like that. So, yeah.
Scott knows me. Very professional. Yeah. What's on the agenda today, the big program?
Well, we got that I guess a secret guest picker. Are we going to reveal it pretty soon?
I think you could let the people know. I think
it's okay. We're going to have the Grinch.
We're going to have the Grinch.
He's going to come over.
The Grinch.
The actual Grinch.
The actual
From the
Grinch.
Dr. Seuss, from How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yes.
Okay.
Look, I figure let's get it out of the way now, because once Christmas really gets close, I don't need any negativity. Like, it's all about, you know how much I love Christmas.
Yeah. You do. You blew right past Thanksgiving. You said, let's get the Grinch in.
Let's
big
do it
fuzzy
now.
Turkey or anything like that. No, let's get the Grinch in. So,
he also happens to be in town.
He's in town. That's right. He has a performance at the Straz Center in Tampa. They're doing a musical. The Grinch is singing. It's, of course, the story of how the Grinch stole Christmas. I really love, I don't know if you guys, if your kids watch it, but that's one my son and I will watch probably 10 or 12 times before Christmas.
The original, the cartoon?
We love the original.
Yeah.
We love the cartoon. And we love some of the newer updates with Jim Carrey in it and that one, and then the newer animated one. We just love the Grinch. Can't get enough Grinch.
Okay.
And the theater, the Straz, man, I love going to that place.
Yeah.
You know, and seeing it there on the stage, you know it's got to be awesome. So, yeah, he'll come in.
Get a little taste.
See how well he does these games.
Does he know football? He's picking football games.
Better.
He knows how to
Ready
steal
or
them.
not.
He knows how to steal them. I know that. Then at the end, how about some, I can never say this word, entomology? Is that right?
Entomology.
You nailed it.
Yes.
The study of insects. You got it again. No, that's etymology.
So we're going to do a little quiz on these origins, these phrases, where they came from. See if you can kind of come up with where they came from.
Okay.
How about that?
Fun.
All right.
Yeah.
This sounds like another quiz I'm going to fail. All right. Very good. Everybody, it's time in the show where we reveal Scott is a big dodo. All right. Appreciate it, BK. We'll catch up with you momentarily. If you're listening and you want to watch, go to fox13news.com/NODPOD. If you're watching and you want to listen or subscribe, take out your phone, zap the QR code, and you can catch all of our shows. Go to fox13news.com/NODPOD to subscribe, and you're going to want to watch this episode so you can get a glimpse of the Grinch. All right, so we have some big stories going on, especially in college football. And you know what? Whenever there's a big story, there's ways that they try to get out in front of it and kind of handle some of the scrutiny that comes with these. And that the first step is usually a what?
A well-crafted statement.
A well-crafted statement.
You hope it's well-crafted.
You've read many a statement in your life. We're going to start. I think we should grade them. I honestly think some of these statements, we should go through it, and then we kind of like, what are they really saying? And then how would you have tweaked it a little bit? So let's start first with the house cleaning that happened up at Tallahassee this last weekend. So FSU, they're 1-9 on the season, disastrous season in every way. And so they fire 3 coaches, including both of their coordinators. Mike Norvell, in a statement, says, I appreciate the work these 3 men have provided over the last 5 years with me at Florida State. They are all great men with families who also have poured into our program. We had many great moments together here, and I have never doubted their passion for our players and for Florida State. Unfortunately, we have not upheld the Florida State standard with our results on the field this season. I did not make any of these decisions lightly, but I felt changes needed to be made to elevate our program back to where we all desired it to be. So your thoughts on Mike Norvell's statement?
Well, first of all, just stunning that this is a staff that's 1 year removed from a FSU team that goes 13-0, wins the ACC championship, probably should have been in the college football playoff, but of course lost their quarterback. And so now here we are, 1-9, and changes have to be made. And so at first you look at it and you say, well, these 3 guys were part of this team that went 13-0 last year. So why have we given up on them completely after they go 1-9? I believe this is the part of a coach's career, though, where Mike Norvell realizes that the heat's getting turned up on him a little, even though he has a massive buyout, and something's got to change. And I think what is not said there in the black and white, but what Florida State fans know is that the recruiting has not been there for Florida State. They've had bad talent evaluation in the transfer portal, and they're just not recruiting high school. They kind of gave up on recruiting high school. And what I've heard from the people that cover Florida State is these three assistants here, Atkins, Fuller, and Ron Dugans, not good on the recruiting trail. And I think that's Norvell's focus going forward, talent acquisition.
So you would grade that statement not favorably. What would you give it?
Well, no, I think in that position, what else are you supposed to say?
I'll tell you.
You can't say, I'm going to give him a B.
Here's what I don't like. I don't like the praise followed by the kind of blame, really, right? So it's kind of like, hey, these people, so great coaches, but, hey, we have a certain standard around here, and we have not upheld our end of the bargain. So obviously the people that are getting fired are in some ways to blame for that standard not being upheld. So I kind of don't like that. I mean, I think it's just we've all collectively seen what's been awful this year. Mm-hmm. All right. And so this is the result. When you don't win games, then people lose jobs. This is unfortunate, but this is what we signed up for. I mean, that's really what the statement. There doesn't even need to be a statement because we all understand what's going on.
So
right?
you don't like that he complimented them.
I just think it's
and
like
that kind
it's
of thing.
just drawn out.
Okay.
It's just a little too much. Like, just look, it's not a reflection of these guys necessarily. The whole thing deserves to be blown up this year, right? I mean, nobody has earned their keep in Tallahassee this year. So really, it's like it's kind of an arbitrary picking of certain coaches. But yes.
And he could really start from the top down because, I mean, it's his offense, right, that has the worst scoring offense in college football.
All right, Utah athletic director Mark Harlan. You watched the BYU-Utah game and how that ended. And there was this
bad call.
There was
bad
a penalty at the end. Well, whether you think it was bad or not, the referee called holding, defensive, I believe it was pass interference, holding, DPI, and of course that gave, on a fourth down, that gave BYU a first down. They eventually marched down to the field goal range, kick a field goal, and win it. And afterwards, Mark Harlan, the AD, who used to be the AD here at USF, says, they stole it from us. That was stolen from us, okay? So for that comment, fined $40,000 for attacking the officiating crew. Here's his statement. Last night, following our game against BYU, I made clear my feelings related to the game officiating. However, I recognize that there are more appropriate times and avenues to express those concerns, and I accept the consequences of my decision. My comments came after having just left our team locker room where the student athletes were hurting and upset. The University of Utah is proud to be a member of the Big 12 Conference, and we look forward to working with our peers to continue to enhance the league. BYU coach Sataki, and their coaches and student athletes have are having a terrific season, and we wish them the very best. All right. I'll take this one first. So I like the first part. I like the first part because he's really not kind of backing down from what he said. He's just saying, look, there's a time and a place, right? There's a time and a place. He feels like they were slighted by the officials, and so he's not saying I was wrong in that. He's just saying, the time and the place, not right. But the locker room blame shifting, that felt a little bit forced, like a parent kind of standing up on behalf of somebody, like, oh, I did it for my kids, and I saw those faces, and they were crying in that locker room, and so, and then the last part is a lie because, of course, he does not wish BYU the very best. Right?
No, it's just the holy war.
Why would he do that?
Yeah.
So you don't want them to have a terrific season. So your eyes were burned with rage after losing to this team in the final seconds. So maybe if it's sarcasm, if his last statement is sarcasm, then I really like it, and I would move this statement into being an A. But I don't think it was sarcasm, so I'm going to give him a C. I'm going to give him a C.
Yeah, I'll give him a D. I thought it was I think he really disrespected the conference and BYU's win when you go into before the media like that, ahead of your head football coach, and you say these kind of things. And as you said, this statement is really more of an explanation rather than an apology. It's, I went to the locker room and I saw their downtrodden little faces and I felt bad.
Well, you said it was a bad call.
Yeah.
And so he's just saying it was a bad call.
Yeah, but you're the athletic director. You can't, as a fan, as a guy who had perhaps picked BYU to win that game, I could say it's a bad call, but it's subjective. And you know how many times the referees called defensive pass interference in that game? Just that once. It was a subjective call that shouldn't have been made, but also that doesn't guarantee that BYU is going to win. It gives them new life, but they still went down the field and got themselves in field goal range.
I do think the call was right. I watched that play from a handful of different angles, and you don't have to call it, but it was letter of the law. That was defensive pass interference. So, yeah, it stinks that it happened in that situation, and then Utah couldn't hold the line after that. But
the thing I didn't like him saying most in the immediate following the game was that we were proud to be part of the Big 12, but now I'm not proud. Like, that was unnecessary.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well, his statement cleared that up.
Yeah, his statement and his $40,000 fine that he's paid.
All right, Georgia and their backup safety, Jake Pope, were seen celebrating after they lost to Ole Miss. Kirby Smart calls him an idiot for doing that, but I want to focus on Jake Pope and this 2-second clip.
You got smart and idiot in the same sentence there.
Yeah, right. Smart calls him an idiot, but I want to focus on Jake Pope's his statement. He goes on to I believe Twitter or X or whatever, and releases this like 2-page iNotes script. I want to address the videos that have been out there after the Ole Miss game. First and foremost, I want to say sorry for the way that I was taken out of perspective, that it was taken out. Sorry, I can't read. For the way that it was taken out of perspective. So he's apologizing for the fact that it was taken out of
So see, it's not that you can't read. It's that this isn't
maybe it doesn't make sense. And has caused a distraction / commotion for my teammates and coaches. This is not representative of who I am in any way. In no way, shape, or form would I ever celebrate a loss in this program, and anyone who knows me knows that. My longtime family friends had come up to me unexpectedly after the game, and I was trying to get off the field to safety, and so his life was in danger apparently. And then so I was extremely excited to see me. They were extremely excited to see me after the game. And so I was a little surprised as well. And so what you saw was my reaction via the video. And so he says that
and he goes on and explains for way too long.
Yes, that's precisely it. I'm Georgia thick and thin. I've never loved a group of guys more than the guys I go to battle with day in, day out. And so he goes into all this thing. Okay, first of all, Kirby shouldn't be calling his own players idiots. But this guy goes way overboard. Like, who cares? Like, don't even acknowledge it. Like, he's seen, like, happy with his friends. Just say, look, I saw my friends after the game. I know we lost. I still love the game. I still love my team. And what you saw was not me celebrating an Ole Miss victory. Yeah. So whatever it was not that. And then just move on. But he's, like, apologizing to the fan base and, like, showing his undying affection for the program. He would never do that. So you can't apologize, obviously, for the way someone takes it, right? So he can't apologize for you taking it out of perspective.
Well, but that's what he's doing. That's why it's not really an apology.
Right. So, and Georgia thick and thin, I believe he transferred in from Alabama.
I was going to say, I feel like Mr. Pope's first problem was he forgot who he was playing for.
Yeah.
They just beat Georgia, Ole Miss did, and he thought he was still on Alabama's team. So, yeah, I think a lot of things happen here. I think, first of all, this is a young man who probably, you lose your place, you forget everyone has a camera, and if we believe what he says is true here, he saw some family and friends he didn't expect to see there on the field, started jumping up and down. But you just have to be more self-aware and just know that, look, how bad do you take a loss? Like, you played college football. If you lost a heartbreaking game on the field, like, I don't know how happy you would be if you saw some long-lost friend or family member coming at you. Would you be in a jumping up and down mood? Like,
I probably wouldn't, but there has to be enough grace for that to occur in our life, and the sports fans don't go ballistic.
Well, it's just a bad look, though. I mean, when you're
bad look, but, like, it was a football game. It's not really – and he doesn't even play. You know what I mean? Like it's just, like, who cares? The fact that Kirby even acknowledged it afterward and – called him an idiot.
Kirby should not have called him an idiot.
He shouldn't have done that. He should have just been like, he saw friends and it didn't look good. I understand that, but that's what you saw is not.
But this statement here is a D- or an F.
I
mean, it's completely unnecessary. And plus, I mean, I know you guys have academic instructors that help you craft these things. You have PR people now. Get some help writing this. It's just bad. You didn't learn that at Alabama. You must have learned this at Georgia.
You should offer your services.
The syntax is terrible. Sorry for the way this was taken out of perspective. I think you mean taken out of context.
Well, want me to tell you the statement that I think was perfectly done this last week, and this wasn't a statement. This was actually audio. CeeDee Lamb complained about the sun that's shining through Jerry World, and he wanted curtains. So he's asking for curtains. So they asked Jerry Jones about curtains. And I just love what I think he handled it perfectly, because it's such a ridiculous idea to put curtains inside Jerry World, and that his own players are actually hoping for that. He says, we do know where we do know where the bleeping sun's going to be at our own stadium. Well, let's just tear the bleeping stadium down and build another one. Are you kidding me? Every team that comes in here has the same issues. They know where the sun is going to be. Every team has the same thing. I'm not saying that it's on Mike McCarthy. I'm saying the world knows where the sun is. We get to know that almost a year in advance. So someone asked me about the sun. What about the sun? Where's the moon? We're fine, but everybody plays in the sun out here. A+. That's how you deal with it. It's such a ridiculous idea that the media would kind of deal with like this. Oh, the sun. Like, how dumb is Jerry because he didn't think about the sun?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
Like, every team since the beginning of football has dealt with sun, and like if we are that entitled to football, like these athletes can't deal with, they need curtains hung at Jerry World. Is that where we're at now?
Did they ask Jerry about possibly just paying the sun to like set at a later time? I mean, we just had the fall time change. Yeah. Maybe Jerry should do something about that.
I think he does it right. He zaps the mockery right there.
Yeah.
So he zaps it, and then the argument kind of goes away. Like, it's just so silly, and I think that's how you deal with it. I wish more people would deal with it like that.
The sun tore Dak's hamstring, though.
Yeah, no doubt.
That was not nice of the sun.
All right, coming up on the other side, we have an update, Toy Hall of Fame.
We
Yes, we had finalists, so now we know who's in. Plus, our special guest joins us, the Grinch, coming up on the other side. Don't go anywhere. The NODPOD's back after this.
Come on, Stick Horse.
Welcome back to the No Off Days podcast. You know, something that we're pretty passionate about here on this show is it's toys, the National Toy Hall of Fame.
Right.
We had mentioned earlier this year that they had a list of finalists. Well, those finalists have now been selected, Chris.
Oh, come on.
The class of 2024
it
probably?
Is, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know that I love it, but My Little Pony.
Made it?
My Little Pony's in.
Wow.
Transformers is in, and what I think is actually... I don't know. I have a problem with this. Phase 10. The card game Phase 10 made it in.
No, I think I shared when we talked about this that my son and I bought it recently, and it's the most boring game I've ever played. It takes forever. I don't understand it.
So here's the ones that the ones that were left at the altar, I suppose. Stick Horse, Balloon, the Choose Your Own Adventure books, which I had been lobbying hard for. Trampoline, which I thought was obvious, first ballot, right? Pokemon cards.
No, you and I argue about trampoline. It's not a toy. It's an implement. It's an apparatus.
Well, here, let's put it this way: if you put all of these toys in a room with 100 kids, where are they all going?
Not to Stick
They're
Horse.
not going to play. They're not playing Phase 10. They're not sitting around the game of Phase 10. So anyway, and I guess, the Stick Horse didn't get in. Maybe they've met their equine quota with My Little Pony. So, So there we go. That's your class of 24.
I'm happy Transformers made it. I think you and I both said we wanted that one in. Like, it's Optimus Prime. It's past its prime. It's way time to get it in.
Absolutely.
But I'm worried about Stick Horse. Like, if Stick Horse couldn't make the cut during the Grover Cleveland administration, it's not going to make it now.
Yeah. Well, I guess My Little Pony had 7 opportunities there as a finalist.
Okay.
And so finally punched its ticket in. So I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if there's a point where you're cast off.
You have no more voting for Stick Horse, I guess.
I don't know what the hot gift is this year, but I feel like does your boy? He's big into like video games now. He's graduated. It's all digital. They don't get toys anymore.
I don't know. They just download things.
For my money, it's Christmas time. I mean, it's we start early in my house, so we have 2 Christmas trees this year.
2?
They're already up. So we're starting the phase. It's a 10-part phase, so it's like a game of Phase 10 to get the house up and running for Christmas. So, being that I'm really into Christmas, I don't know really. I'm a little unsure how to welcome in our guest. I'm a little nervous, in fact. All right, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical, is playing this week at the Straz. So our guest,
oh no,
hello, great to see me.
One that needs no introduction. It is the Grinch.
Doing great. Hello, I'm the Grinch. Nice to meet me.
Nice to meet me.
Hello, hello.
Absolutely.
Hold on. I know.
The wheels are a little.
We got it. The wheels are a little loose. Which
we just.
Wow, you're
metaphor
bigger than you look on TV and in the books.
Well, I've been told I will jump off the page, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But how you guys all doing today? Doing good, having a great time. That Toy Hall of Fame. Listen, I've stolen in my day. I've stolen the stick horses. I have stolen some Phase 10 cards, which were still in the package, which nobody played with. It's no Uno. I mean, as much as it's not Uno. Right. Then My Little Ponies everywhere, just stealing them. It's great. It's a wonderful time.
Is it too early to start with the Christmas decorations?
Listen, I'm a firm believer that Christmas shouldn't start until at least December 22nd.
Okay.
Earliest. Now, they like to drag me out because I got my amazing show. We want everyone to see it, obviously. Yeah. So like Mariah Carey, they thaw me the day after Thanksgiving, or the day after Christmas, or Halloween. I don't even know my days anymore. The day after Halloween, they thaw me out, they parade me around, and then they put us back in our caves. Oh. It's a great time. It's wonderful.
Do they groom you after they thaw you?
I was going to say, a nice little brush going on. I know. I get my yearly bath.
Oh,
and I know. I get my yearly bath.
You smell a little bit fresher.
That's what I don't bite, but I do smell. Yeah. So it's a little nicer this time around.
I'm curious how you're adapting. This is a little bit different than like Whoville. It's not. This is Florida. Right?
It's hot. It's humid.
This is Mount Crumpler.
And you're quite the hairy lamb too.
I am. Well, I shaved this morning. It all grew back.
Wow.
That's the worst part. It all grew back. But what do you do?
Well, look, you mentioned your big show. What an honor.
Absolutely.
Tampa's on Straz Center.
We're going to be at the Straz Center.
Your musical in town.
Absolutely.
Playing all this week, all through Sunday. A bunch of. Are you singing? You're singing.
Oh, we sing. We dance. I do a one-man kick line. What else? What more do you need? There's dogs on stage, not real ones. There's who's on stage, not real ones. There's amazing, phenomenal the sets. Oh my gosh, it looks like right. I'm impressed with myself.
And you just got a manicure too.
And I just got. You know who did my nails?
Max, your dog?
No, it was Ariana Grande. Okay. It's all of her old ponytails. They just put it right on the end. It's very nice of her. Yeah.
This is incredible.
Thank you.
I have so many questions I've wanted to ask you. If
I please. I would love to.
I want to fire a few at you here.
Yes.
The feast scene at the end of the book always kind of my eyeballs were drawn to the Who roast beast.
Oh yeah.
And I love the way you carved it. But I wanted to ask you, what is the best Who food? Is it Who hash, Who pudding, or the?
I mean, the roast beast really is fantastic.
Yeah.
That pudding is an amazing dessert. And you got the Who hash. It comes in a giant can. I mainly like to eat the can afterwards. But after it's emptied, sure, I'll take a bite or two of the hash. It's a good side. It's like stuffing. And then just mainly garbage and onions is my favorite food personally.
Okay.
That's what I really go for. But I symbolically had to be like, here you guys go, and then I make mostly the bones afterwards from the Who.
We're like a sports podcast, so we kind of deal with it. I don't know how much into the sports world you are, but you've stolen a lot of sports equipment.
I've stolen,
over the years.
When the parents, they put out, all the various sports equipment for the children. I will steal that definitely, and then I, just kind of throw the ball around. But no, I don't follow any sports. I'm not, that kind of person at all.
Do you have like people that you can throw the ball with? Is there
mainly just against a wall to myself? Okay. The back and forth. Max will chase the ball every now and again when he's off the couch. He likes to lay around. He watches a lot of Bluey and Paw Patrol.
Yeah, don't we all?
Obviously.
Is it too late for auditions? Because I don't know if you know this, but our very own Chris Cato has quite the vocal cords, and he sings the Grinch song.
I mean, he's got that good. He's got that good low bass.
There we go.
I'd love to put on the spot
in there.
In my best Thurl Ravenscroft, I guess it is.
Yeah.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Yes, there you go.
You're as friendly as an eel. I don't know the words.
Something like that. You have termites in my smile.
Yeah. How do you like when people start? And every year the radio stations start playing these Christmas songs.
Absolutely.
And when you hear that song, how does that make you feel? It says a lot of nasty things.
Are you kidding? First of all, of course it says terrible things about me. Yeah. Every single one of which I have earned myself. Okay. Thank you very much. And so I love the song singing about me. And the more attention, the better. I really, spreading Grinch awareness.
Attention is letting people know. It's all
absolutely,
good. Right?
Absolutely.
You are probably the most beloved Dr. Seuss character, but I've got to ask you if there's a number two, second best Dr. Seuss character. Is it the Cat in the Hat or Sam I Am?
Oh, you know what? It's going to be Cat in the Hat. You got to give it to him. He's a little bit of the icon. He's got that cute hat. I give it to him.
He's a troublemaker, though. Always makes a mess.
He gets into the biggest of messes. It's too much.
I mean, if not for thing 1 and thing 2, he would be in jail.
They have to clean up his mess behind him the whole time. They're exhausting. But one of my favorite Seuss characters is Pop from Hop on Pop. Also, the Bluefish from Red Fish.
Underrated.
And the Fox in the Box. From Green Eggs and Ham.
Would you eat green eggs and ham? Could you?
Sprinkle a little bit garbage and onions on there. We'll mix it all together. I'll make something happen. We'll see what happens.
Good stuff. I think we're just getting started with the Grinch because we're actually. I know you didn't say you're a big sports fan, but we're going to put you to the sports test. We have big games. You're going to be our guest picker.
Wait, whose nose? Yours?
Please
picking games. Okay, fair.
Picking games on the other side. The Grinch. He's not going anywhere.
No.
We're back.
See you there.
With the man himself next. Well, if you have not gotten your tickets yet, I'm not sure what you're waiting for, but the Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical, this week at the Straz, and the man himself, the Grinch, with us. It's time for our pick segment. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
We're not picking noses. Again, this is games. We got to pick football games.
All right. I've never seen one or heard of the sport, but I'll do my best.
They don't play that at Mount Crumpet.
No, not a big football.
So
people.
I'll tee it up. I'll let Chris and I we'll do our picks, and then you kind of just jump in as you feel
absolutely.
led. All right. So Tulane, their mascot is the Green Wave.
Hello.
Paying a visit to Navy.
So
Tulane, 6.5 point favorites going into this one. A noon kick. Chris, who do you think wins it?
Yeah, I like it. Well, I don't want to say anything bad about any team named the Green Wave because we've got Mr. Green right here, and so. But if you look at Tulane, their defense is giving up only 14 points a game in conference games. So I think they're going to handle Navy. Sorry, Navy. I know we just had Veterans Day. I think Tulane wins this one by more than 6.5.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
that's quite a win.
Well, this is a potential Grinch. This is a potential play-in game for the championship of that conference, the American Conference. So
very nice.
We're going to get you up to speed before this thing's all said and done.
I like that. That's very good.
But yeah, so I think Mekhi Hughes in that run game is going to get going against that Navy squad. Navy's kind of struggling a little bit. So I too like the Green Wave to cover the 6.5. So again, we got Tulane Green Wave and we have the Navy midshipmen.
Midshipman.
Yes.
Versus, listen, I'm going to see a bunch of Navy guys on a boat and know what's going to take them out? A big old Green Wave.
Oh, there you go. I love it. Okay.
I'm going to give it to the Green Wave. I'm going to give it to my friends over at 2-lane. They're almost as good as 3-lane or 4-lane. But 2-lane, I'm going for you guys, babe.
All right, we have another green-themed team. They are the Mean Green of North Texas, paying a visit to University of Texas San Antonio, UTSA, the Roadrunners. The Mean Green come in 2-point favorites. This is an 8 o'clock kick on Saturday, Chris.
Mr. Grinch, can you believe a team actually named its mascot the Mean Green?
And didn't use your face.
And didn't use my face. What am I doing sitting here? I should be at a football game.
Do you know why they named it the Mean Green?
I have no idea.
There was a legendary NFL player for the Pittsburgh Steelers named Mean Joe Green. He went to that school, and so after he became famous, whatever mascot they were before, they kicked it to the curb and said, now we're the Mean Green.
So is it just some guy named Joe? Is that their mascot? Yeah. He's like, hi, I'm Joe. I have to be your mascot.
Mean Green was probably better than Joe.
Mean Green, that's fair.
Yeah. It's a good matchup. Two evenly matched teams, Mr. Grinch. But boy, I tell you what, the Mean Green quarterback, the UTSA, the Roadrunners quarterback, Owen McCown is on a heater. He has thrown 8 touchdown passes in his last 2 games, 4 TDs last week in a big comeback win over Memphis. North Texas just got trampled by Army. I'm going to take UTSA, the home underdog in this one.
Oh, I kind of like UTSA as well. Roadrunner. Another cartoon character.
They're fast. I'll give them that.
So there's that. Yeah. But I played college ball with the receivers coach for UTSA, so I feel like I have to. Joe Price, kudos to you for what you've done.
Another Joe.
How about this? They've won their last 20 conference games inside the Alamo Dome. How incredible is that?
They play at the Alamo Dome.
They don't lose.
Wow.
They don't lose conference games at home, so you got to go Roadrunners.
Here's the thing.
I'm sorry.
If they got the tradition of winning at home, and then, the Mean Green is just being represented by some guy named Joe, I might have to go with the Roadrunners on this one. I'm going to have to follow you guys. Roadrunners, meep, all around. I'm here for it.
We got a local team.
Good.
You got to know our local teams here, Grinch. So USF on the road. They are 3-point favorites. And they are playing at Charlotte.
Oh.
Both of these teams' colors are They're green. Yeah, so there you go. So
I love that.
Now you're torn, right?
Okay,
It's a 3:30 kick.
Very torn.
Bulls 3-point favorites, Chris.
There will be a lot of green on the field up in Charlotte. I've been nauseously green watching both of these teams play throughout the season.
Yeah.
Kind of ugly performances lately. We see our South Florida Bulls here in Tampa. Bryce Archie's been playing at quarterback the last couple of games. I don't know is Byron Brown coming back ever? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't
anyway,
know.
Archie's been a little inconsistent. 2 picks last week against Navy, but I think both of these teams need this win and to keep their hopes of making a bowl game alive. Charlotte has lost 3 straight in conference play, so give me the Bulls with a road win covering that 3-point spread.
What do you think of his analysis?
I mean, that sounds amazing. Yes, I understood 0 of the words that came out of your mouth. But listen, here's the thing. Tampa, you're my friends. You're all here, and they're all coming to see my show this weekend. Obviously, or they're watching the football game, one or the other. But while they have to come.
I think they can go after the football game. It's a 3:30 start, right?
Oh, and we got a show that night. Oh, that'll be perfect.
So you're good.
I definitely think I'm going to give it to the green. Now, is it a green bowl?
It is
Just like
now.
the
green bowl.
Green bowl.
Yeah, we're calling them that.
I love they stick with natural, real colors. And
I don't know
with the
why I even
actual
have
animal.
to pick this game, but
I
do think they're going to run the ball better against a team that is not very good in stopping the run. So Kelly Joyner, Teron Keith, those guys get the thing going. USF covers. All right, the number 1 team in the country.
Oh dear. Okay.
The Oregon Ducks.
Okay. Quack quack.
What do you know about Ducks?
Colors are green. All right.
Green and yellow. I know that much.
So what could go wrong, right? They're 14.5-point favorites, but they're going into Wisconsin, and they actually have a coach on their staff whose name is Alex Grinch.
I'm torn.
Are you related?
I am
relation?
torn. I distant cousin. I'm sure. Distant cousin. I'm sure when he shaves, it stays off. He might be one of those. But first of all, Alex Grinch, big fan.
Big fan.
As you are, of course, a giant fan of mine, and we'll see you at the reunion. However, number 1 team in the country.
Yeah.
That's kind of rough. That's a little hard. I don't know who. The Ducks.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm going to go with the Ducks. I'm going to quack. Yeah. I'm going to go with Oregon on this one. As my cousin Alex, I wish you the best, and I hope you beat him. And we're going to be realistic. We're going to be realistic.
Got to be realistic.
That's what I like about the Grinch.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, he's settling even family ties.
It's about realism.
It is.
Okay.
Truly. And you go with the money, right? Money's green as well. And, the truth is, the reason I'm picking the Ducks is because Mr. Grinch's defense, he's the co-defensive coordinator, the 3 words that best describe the Badgers' defense are as follows, and I quote, stink, stank, stunk. They have not been good in Big Ten play. The Oregon Ducks have beaten every Big Ten opponent except for that 1-point win over Ohio State. But they have dominated Big Ten play by winning each game by at least 21 points. That will be no different on the road in Madison. I've got the Ducks as well, quacking their way to victory and covering.
As a Ducks fan, Grinch, I'm a little nervous about this one. It's a night game at Camp Randall. This is the last road game of the regular season for the Ducks. They're right there. They're right there on the precipice. It's like Christmas Eve. The presents are right there, and then who comes in to steal those gifts? This guy. And so I'm worried because you got a Grinch on the other side that might come in and steal the potential championship that these Ducks are supposed to have.
How much fun would that be?
Though that story we've seen that story, and you can see it again actually this weekend many times at the Straz.
Until Sunday.
But I just think the Ducks have too much talent, and I think they're gonna enforce their will. Come Saturday night. Okay, we have one in the NFL. Do we have time for it? One in the NFL.
Yeah,
all right.
We're good.
All right, the Chicago Bears are hosting
the Bears.
The Green Bay Packers.
There it is.
This is 1 o'clock. You can watch it here on Fox 13. So who we got? Do you want to take it?
Let's go. Listen, here's the thing. We've got cheese on one side, and we've got big old grizzly bears on the other. And between those two, I know nothing about either team. I'm going strictly based off of the limited knowledge I have, which is cheese is delicious.
Cheese is delicious.
All right, listen, I'll put cheese on top of some garbage and onions.
Yeah, stinkier the better.
I'll put a little cheese on there every now and again. I got to go with Green Bay. I got to go with my friends Green Bay. And hopefully it's like freezing cold until it's Chicago. So they're used to playing in cold anyway.
Yeah.
But, hopefully it'll be so cold that only Green Bay will be able to play.
I think so.
Let's say that.
Don't you think Grinch would look good in a cheese head?
Yeah. Real good. It'd be real nice.
Yeah, fit right in at Lambeau.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'd be warm, that's for sure.
So cheese is great. So cheese on those tavern-style or deep dish pizzas in Chicago, really good too.
Yeah.
Think about that right now. The Bears have been awful, Mr. Grinch. The Bears just fired the offensive coordinator after losing 19-3 to the lowly Patriots. Packers coming off a bye. But their quarterback, Jordan Love, I know. He's trying to get healthy too, Mr. Grinch. He pulled a groin. Have you ever pulled a groin on stage?
No, not on purpose. But, it happens. What can I say? Duh, Bears. Poor guy. I hope he feels better soon.
I think he's going to play for the Packers, but I think this is going to be a smelly, ugly slugfest.
Oh, my favorite.
How does that sound? Smelly, ugly,
smelly,
NFC
ugly, slugging. Just add stealing, and we are.
I think the Bears might get close to stealing one. They won't. The Packers will win, but the Bears won't cover.
You got the Bears covering.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. You kind of set us up there for a big Packers pick, but I'm gonna say that the Packers finish this. They're coming off a bye.
Okay.
Chicago. They again, to your point, their offense has just disappeared. So I don't know how you get it going against the Packers. Packers, good team, and I think they're going to flex some muscle. So I got the Packers to cover, at least by a touchdown.
All right.
My goodness. I think you've just expanded your sports portfolio.
I really have. I mean,
if you want to incorporate it into the shows this week.
I'll do what I can. And maybe I'll throw a cheesehead on one of the scenes, and we'll bring over, we'll have everyone do the wave in the audience.
What you think of singing?
I've heard better. I've also heard worse. So
he's heard worse.
There we go.
There it
That's
is.
where we are.
That's the highest compliment you can hope.
I'm not ready for off-Broadway.
No, yeah, you'll get there.
But
Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical, running all throughout the weekend at the Straz. If you want tickets, strazcenter.org. Go ahead and get you some. See more of this fella.
And we'll see you there, friends.
You
all
were
right.
Wonderful. I think
Thank you.
Your sports heart grew 3 sizes
My
today.
sports heart did grow. It's filled with, basketballs and footballs and
all the toys he stole from
or whatever.
little kids.
And the small, yes, absolutely.
Stick around. The NODPOD continues after this.
So, yeah.
Welcome back to the No Off Days podcast. Let's bring in Brian King. Now that the Grinch is out of here, we can have a little bit more fun. Okay, we can lighten the mood a little bit.
What do you think, Brian? What do you think of the Grinch?
Man. That was with my wallet.
Full of energy.
Yeah. He swiped my wallet? No.
He swiped my yogurt.
Yeah. No, that was awesome, man.
Hey, I had a question.
Up there?
I didn't get to ask the Grinch this. He was in such a hurry to get to his musical. But have you guys thought about the fact that part of the Grinch's disguise when he pulled off this heist was Santa Claus's costume? He disguised himself as Santa.
Yeah.
So after the Grinch goes and takes all the gifts and everything, why didn't Santa come and replenish everything that was missing on Christmas Eve? We never saw Santa.
I don't think this. Okay, well, I don't really know the story maybe as well as you, but I don't think Santa makes another trip through, right?
Well, he never came to begin with, did he? I don't think he did.
Mariah's going to weigh in. So where did the toys come from? Santa
okay.
first.
So he followed
then
the Grinch. Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, boy, I'm glad I didn't ask him that.
Oh boy,
that would be embarrassing.
Yeah, it was great to have the Grinch, and
does he shed? Is there a lot of?
You got a little green fur in my coffee here. Yeah.
That's good though, man. That was awesome.
A lot of grooming, almost as many grooming hours as Chris Cato.
Not quite.
To get up and running. All right, let's play this game.
All right, I'm gonna give you a phrase, and you tell me where this phrase came from. What's the origin of it? Okay, I think these are pretty simple, guys. Okay, you ready?
He always says that, and then
no,
it's
these
never.
are. I think they are, man. I'm looking at them. I think they are. Okay, we'll go to the first one here. Know the ropes. Know the ropes. Where does that come from? What's the origin of that?
Well, I believe that this was, for people that would hike mountains, that they would have ropes that already were there on the mountains to the places that all the known hiking trails were already at. So they would use those ropes as a way to know the way up to the top of the mountain.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. That's good. I was going to go a little more primitive, if I can get the word out. And I think maybe perhaps in the jungle, right, there were times where
Tarzan.
You had to grab onto a vine to climb something, and sometimes it was a snake. And so you wanted to be sure that you knew the ropes from the snakes.
Yeah.
And that was what they used to say. Before they sent you out, they would say, son, know the ropes from the snakes, and they just shortened it to know the ropes.
Yeah. It actually, before know the ropes, it was thems ain't snakes.
And then they started calling the snakes nope ropes. That's the etymology of that.
I think so. That sounds more legit.
Oh, Cato, man, you cracked me up. It originates from the days of sailing ships when sailors were required to understand the ropes and how to operate them and everything. Okay. And some say it also comes from the theater We should ask the Grinch this about knowing the ropes, which rope to pull for sets and all that stuff.
Yeah, one of them sends a sandbag down and
crushes the main actor.
All right, how about this one? Break a leg. Where's that come from? That's kind of easy, I would think.
You want to take that one first?
This is, I think, from the theater, for real. Like, I think this is a theater. Well, I know it's what they tell an actor to do. So I believe the story was some of these early actors had to go audition for a part, and they would stand in this line that formed an L. It looked like a leg almost, if you picture a line of a straight line and then a smaller line shooting off. And if you got called out of that line, then you were getting the part, and so you broke the leg. That's where it came from.
Okay, he sounds really convinced by that. But actually, where this came from was there was a famous actor, and I don't remember his name, but I believe he was auditioning for a high school play. And in the audition, at the very end of the audition, he fell into the orchestra pit and actually broke his leg. But it was so good that everybody that was doing the audition just stood up, they clapped. And so from that point, it was like, yeah, go do an audition that well.
Yeah.
Go break a leg.
Put it all out there like that guy did.
Yeah.
He'll never walk the same again, but do that.
They later amputated that leg, too. It's a really bad story.
Yeah.
Staph
infection. You're kind of close. You're kind of around there. There's two theories to this thing. It says, one, they both originate from the theater. It says that there's a belief among the actors that if you wish somebody good luck, you're going to have a bad performance. Okay. That's why. It says reverse psychology. But another one, back in the early days, they said instead of applauding, the audience would bang their chairs on the floor. And if you banged your chairs real loud, you would break the leg off the chair. And so that means you have.
I like that one.
I like that one too. I learned that one.
Yeah, that's inciting like property damage.
Yeah. So they're getting up out of their chair and they're
just so excited. They're bouncing up and down chairs.
Oh, don't break that. Oh, he's breaking the chair, Brian.
Oh, this is such a good podcast.
Careful with how you're attacking that chair.
Okay, here's another one that I learned something from. Champing at the bit, not chomping. I always thought it was chomping at the bit.
Me too.
It's champing at the bit.
Well.
So you want to go?
I mean, well, I think that this is again another horse racing term, the bit and the bridle, right? And so when you're champing at the bit, that's just the way they pronounced it. He actually is chomping, but it's changed over time. So, but it was like an old kind of newsy guy. Hey, he's champing at the bit,
okay.
And
a
so
cigar in his mouth.
Yes, he had a cigar in his mouth, and he was actually champing at the bit of his cigar. But no, I believe it was a horse racing terminology. That the harder that the horse bit down on that bridle, the more you knew that he was going to have a good race.
I agree. I think if you hear of a horse that spit the bit, that's bad. Like they got that thing out of their mouth. They didn't want to be racing. They didn't want to ride hard. So a horse that was champing at the bit was like charged up and ready to go. Yeah,
dead on. The bit actually, learned this, fits behind the teeth. So the horse is in the gate ready to come out, and he's just grinding his teeth, and he looks like he's actually chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
But they swear they said it's.
Are we sure that chomping is not? It's not pronounced like a soft A?
They said it's evolved over time to where it is chomping, but the correct pronunciation is champing at the bit from Old English times or something. Yes.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Some traditions never die.
This is my favorite one here. Under the weather. Under the weather. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Okay. So we use it to mean when someone is ill.
You're not feeling well.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. No, that's raining cats and dogs.
Yeah. Are you going to take this one?
I guess, I'm going back to just Old English in a village. A lot of people didn't have a lot of money. They had like a thatch roof over their hut. And some of their craftsmanship was poor, to be honest with you. It would start pouring rain. The person in the hut would get sick, and they were literally getting rained on, and they were then sick. They were under the weather. They caught pneumonia, and they died.
That's horrible. Yeah. I think this is. When you're not feeling well, you're under the weather. So, Carl Weathers, I don't know if you're familiar, was in Rocky.
Sure.
I believe it actually started with him. And that when you were like when he was pounding on, because he, back in the day when he actually was a very good boxer.
He was
before his acting career, and so I believe that's where that came from. That if you were under the weathers, that they took the S off obviously, but if you're under the weather, like you're not going to feel well the next day.
You're gonna be bruised a bit.
Yeah, you're going to get beaten up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, real close there, Scott. It actually comes from again the sailing days, and when a sailor would get sick, they didn't want to get the entire crew sick, so they would send them below deck. So he'd be out of the weather, and he would be literally under the weather while he got better.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He's under the weather.
Yeah. But wouldn't you want, though, if you're sick, I would kind of want them to not be puking inside the boat.
Go down there and vomit it all out under the deck.
Can you keep it in there? Just in that area, not off the edge.
Better up than where you're working. You don't have to be working up top. And
you don't want that stuff on the poop deck, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Keep the poop on the poop deck and the vomit below.
Okay.
So if you had to grade these, what would you grade it, Scott?
Well, I didn't do very well.
No, the quality of this, I went to.
I didn't get one right, so I don't. Or champing at the bit, but that was kind of a freebie.
Yeah. That anything where I have to think too much is not good. So I'm gonna give it a C. I'm gonna give it a C.
Yeah.
But your effort is an A.
No, I don't know.
Because I appreciate the effort you put into these.
Yeah,
that's right.
You're too kind.
No, you're always hard on
Don't doubt yourself, BK. Don't doubt yourself.
I know.
Sometimes Scott and I need to do better. Sometimes we all need to be a little better.
Yeah.
Like our friend the Grinch, what if he had just phoned it in on Christmas Eve and didn't go take all those toys?
You got to finish the job. Yeah.
All the Who roast beast.
Much thanks to the Grinch. And, of course, again, is it strazcenter.org. Go get your tickets. Go check them out in person. A lot of shows this weekend, so it should be a lot of fun to watch. And then much thanks to our studio crew. We have Mariah on the jib. We got Chris, 1s and 2s. Is Ronnie? I think he's back.
Ronnie's on the feeders.
And then BK, and we got Chris Cato, and who's going to be subbing in. I think you got a secondary job as singing in the musical.
I'm a mean one.
All right. Until the next time
Mr.
we're on.
Grinch.
There are no off days.
I'm as ugly as an eel, or something like that.